Often called the New World Order, a primary goal of the Bilderberg elite is to integrate all the world's governments into one unified system. The United Nations was basically the beginning of this, but in order to accomplish the final phase of their plan, the sovereignty of the United States and all other countries would have to be eliminated, and their laws, militaries, and constitutions all placed under a single planetary political authority. The New World Order plan also consists of making this superstate a socialist system, which will function as a nanny state, which will take care of all humanity, through massive redistribution of wealth, huge subsidies, and unlimited free handouts to those who don't work, funded through exorbitant taxes on those who do. Presidents George W. Bush to Bill Clinton to Barack Obama have all publicly proclaimed that their goal is to form a new world order, and the justification is always a current crisis that this new age will supposedly solve. Just 3 days after the 9/11 attacks in 2001, the co-chair of the Council on Foreign Relations and Bilderberg member Gary Hart said that this was a chance for the president to use this disaster to carry out what his father had said was a new world order. Longtime Bilderberg member and financier Henry Kissinger stated that the problems Barack Obama's administration was facing regarding the ongoing war on terror and the economic collapse in 2008 would allow him to create a new world order. This is the same man, by the way, who Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein, the reporters who blew open the Watergate scandal, refers to members of the U.S. military as, quote, dumb, stupid animals who are to be used as pawns for America's foreign policy. Okay, you might have heard this quote floating around the internet, but it actually comes from these two very well-respected Washington reporters in one of their books. Perhaps the most infamous admission is when George W. Bush Sr. stated that the purpose of the Gulf War was to implement the big idea of the New World Order. James Warburg, the son of Paul Warburg, who was the father of the Federal Reserve Bank, said at an appearance before the U.S. State Committee on Foreign Relations that we shall have a world government whether we like it or not. The question is, he said, is whether world government will be achieved by consent or by conquest. One of the problems is that in order for this to happen, some of the freedoms and policies we cherish in the United States will have to be eliminated and repealed. During his acceptance speech when receiving the United Nations Global Governance Award back in 1999, the former anchor of the CBS News, Walter Cronkite, told the audience that all countries in the world, quote, are going to have to be convinced to give up some of that sovereignty to the better, greater union, and it's not going to be easy, end quote. We've already seen the United Nations try to change laws in the United States, claiming that their authority exceeds that of our state and federal governments. For example, after Colorado, Washington, Oregon, and Alaska legalized recreational marijuana use, the UN declared that it was against international law and is trying to assert their authority over the state's decisions to legalize pot. The UN continues to adopt new hate speech laws, which try to criminalize speech and books that some people see as discriminatory, which is an obvious violation of America's First Amendment. But in the age of political correctness gone amok, many people in the United States and other supposedly free countries are actually supporting such tyrannical legislation. It must be emphasized that this global government the Bilderberg Group is planning is not something, I'm planning, I mean, they're built basically. It's just been beta tested. It's in its final phase. But this wasn't something that was started at the grassroots level that worked its way up the channels of government. It is exactly the opposite. The plan was started, in secret, at the highest levels of the powerful corporations and the private organizations which function to influence international policy for their own benefit. The plan of the New World Order global government is also, something that was called a conspiracy theory for decades, but in recent years it's obviously been happening and is now being promoted by countless politicians and heads of international corporations as something the average citizen should embrace with open arms. Thanks for watching. Check out my new book, The Bilderberg Group, Facts and Fiction. Get it right now in paperback from Amazon.com or download it onto your tablet or your e-reader. If you're new to my YouTube channel, give it a subscribe. Check out some of the previous videos and the playlists. And stay tuned. There's more videos coming soon.